I'd love to hear a little bit behind the scenes. So like, what was prep like for this show? Do you guys go in just each kind of individually preparing, or do you guys have time to, block out scenes, read lines together, rehearse at all? What does that behind the scenes prep work look like?
Well, because of COVID, it was a little more thin on the ground, I think, the FaceTime. We had a few reads of the script where we were sitting like outside under a big kind of tent, but 6 feet apart, and trying to make each other laugh in a very spread out camping environment is like not that easy. But we did come in individually a lot. It wasn't, COVID really boned that, because normally you can play a little more, but it just meant that when we came on set finally, Joe, it was really fun because we're all so desperate to hang out with each other. Like, we didn't even know if we could go and have a cast dinner or anything beforehand because everyone was so scared of getting the vid. But yeah, I think it was a much more of an island situation than it would have normally been, and I think it just made getting on set really fun.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on that. I'll say, like, I remember when we were shooting the pilot, it wasn't until like right when we were about to roll the first scene that everyone took their masks down, and I was like, "Oh, that's what you look like." Okay, so we were like covered up from here. So it was in a normal situation, you get to play a little bit more. You need to get to. We still blocked out scenes, we still rehearse the scenes, but you literally cannot take that mask off until we're about to roll, and then it goes right back up. So it does create some limitations, but I think, over the course of the series, as we got to know each other and become, more and more friendly and become more than just coworkers, I think we found a space where we're able to jump right into it because we are kind of familiar with each other is going to bring to a scene. And we just play. And that's one of the things I love most about the show is that it's at the bottom line, and, it's entertaining, but for us, I'll speak for myself, I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you both so much. Here's to season 2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Hello.
The show's been out for a few weeks. What's the reaction that you hear from fans that you're surprised to hear?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that occasionally I'm surprised by people who say they love these characters. They're terrible people. I think I can understand loving the show. It's a very funny show, but I'm impressed by the rest of the actors' capacity to make these monsters likable, because we're terrible, just terrible people.
I always like seeing the reactions from people in the car industry who I've always been pleasantly surprised how, they definitely acknowledge like, well, this is a heightened reality of it, but it was like this, which is always nice to, we get the scripts and we work through the material, but it's just so great how good of a job the writers are at like really portraying this world of corporate car America.
How much influence do you feel you had in kind of shaping the direction of your character throughout the season, or were the scripts already set to the end of the season?
I think it's a healthy balance especially with Justin's shows. Like he wants to work with people who are bringing decisions to these characters, right? And the writing takes you a lot of the way, but it's always down, I think, to the performer to, use that and mold that to what the character actually is. So it's really, truly the two working hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it was such a dream for me to come and work on like an ensemble sitcom for NBC, in particular, loving as I did growing up, like Friends and The Office and Parks and Recreation. Part of the joy was the idea of getting to improvise a little bit, and basically any of the jokes that Elliot has that you think are funny, I probably improvised, and any of the bits that you don't like or are controversial, that was in the script, and I had nothing to do with it. I got to grab my dog again. Stop attacking that chair. Come here.
Justin and Anna, it must feel kind of like a dream come true, finally seeing the show on television and stuff. Can you tell us about your relentlessness to coming to this point from wherever American Auto first, came into your mind for both of your journeys?
Well, I mean, for me, I originally pitched it in 2013, a long time ago, and wrote a version of it back then, and it didn't go. And then I did Superstore after, and then over the years, every now and then I would bring it up, or a lot of it was Trace Bacosta, who was at the studio when I did it originally, and then I'd gone to the network and was a big booster of it. So we would just talk about it now and then over the years. And then when I left running Superstore day to day, she said, you know, now you've got some time. What do you think about going back and taking another look? And I pretty drastically rewrote it. My writing sensibilities had, I think, matured a little bit, and times had changed. But yeah, and then here with COVID and stuff, you know, once it gets into the system, they just kind of push you along. So, but yeah, it's thrilling that we're actually seeing it on air.
Yeah, I was super thrilled. I mean, you know, these kind of roles don't come around all that often, especially, you know, a fun leadership role, but a person who's in the middle of a big ensemble, which is my favorite way to work. And obviously workplace comedies do that better than anyone. And so I kind of, once COVID hit, I thought, oh, well, that's that. There goes that perfect pilot that I was super excited to do. So it was really exciting, as Justin said, that the tide took it, because every step of the way, I think we were kind of like, I don't even know if this is going to happen. And it kind of happened in this little like dreamscape last summer. And it's really fun that it's out in the world now. I think it gave us time with the material in a way that you don't ordinarily have in the rat race of the pilot season, the conventional pilot season. It's not surprising to me that people are ready for this kind of comedy again in the mid-season. It feels at least that the sort of audience response is one of like, oh, thank God, just a good old-fashioned comedy, you know?
Awesome. Thank you both so much. And
Yeah,
we're excited to see what happens next with this show and, you know, with what you both create.
Thank you.
Guys, so much.
What surprised you about the show from when you first figured out you were going to be on the show to actually being on set and working? What were some of the surprises?
I'm gonna let Michael go first. I have to think about that.
COVID-19 was a very, very large surprise to me. What we had to do is adapt to this ability to make a freshman comedy behind masks. And when you can't see people's face and you're doing table reads outside in a parking lot 12 feet apart, it's like, did I hear my cue? I don't know what they're doing until they say action. We had to learn how to do comedy and how to create and how to communicate in a whole entirely different way.
I would second what Michael said about COVID. Yeah, I would say that was the most surprising thing, and also too how I had to figure out how to develop chemistry quickly, because like we're far apart, we're socially distanced, I have my mask on, I can't speak. So finding those little pockets throughout the day to really connect with my cast so that you really see that magic on screen.